Now we're going to get to the Alicia Mercado clip here in a second, so let's get that queued up. Elon Musk is a sexist, is a misogynist. Why? Did he make mean comments about women, God forbid, 20 years ago? No. Elon Musk is not following enough women on Twitter, and that means he's a closet sexist. Yes, that's actually a story put out by Vice.com motherboard that Elon Musk, the inventor, the technological guru, is a sexist because he follows more men than women on Twitter. Elon Musk shot back. He said, quote, "I use Twitter for news organizations. My Instagram has the same amount of women as men. What's up with the phony PC police axe grinding?" And you can probably guess what their response was to that. Oh, so you only use Instagram to look at women? God forbid. God forbid a man would actually enjoy looking at attractive women. We can't have that anymore. That's not allowed. That's sexist. But just think about this. Obviously, there are more men than women in the public eye when it comes to politics and technology. That's just a fact. Of course, that's the fault of the evil patriarchy, but that's another subject. He's not even using Twitter to follow individuals. The vast majority of people or accounts that he follows on Twitter are news organizations, CNN, Reuters, whatever, not individuals. Firstly, what kind of lame frigging journalist thought that who Elon Musk follows on Twitter is even a story to begin with? I mean, we're at the most crucial time in the election. We've got nuclear war with Russia being talked about, and this idiot is writing about who Elon Musk follows on Twitter and saying that makes him a sexist. Give me a break. Again, policing of language, policing of thought, it's not enough. They're now policing who you follow on Twitter. These are the control freaks that want to run our lives. Remember the Guardian writer, the feminist. She'd looked over somebody's shoulder on a train. They were scrolling through who they followed on Twitter, and this thought criminal, this misogynist, this evil sexist followed more men than women. She wrote an article publicly shaming him. Saudi Arabia has only just allowed women to ride bicycles for fun. They're not even allowed to ride them for transportation purposes. And yet, this is what feminists are concerned about. Who Elon Musk follows on Twitter. I mean, give me a break. Another social justice warrior story. Again, this is up on my Twitter. You can go and watch the video. University of Kansas. Aggressive, intolerant mob of SJWs surround and berate Young Americans for Freedom meeting. And it's so progressive for them to encircle like a mob, ravenous, aggressive, fist-pumping, because this group, Young Americans for Freedom, dared to have a meeting in their own university. Literally, there's 5 of them sat round a table, surrounded by 50, 60, 70 angry SJWs, lecturing them about their temerity for merely having a meeting. They don't get to have a safe space, but the SJWs do. Go and watch this video on my Twitter feed. Again, they're berating them. They're banging their fists on the table, saying, how dare you even speak with your white cisgender privilege. One of the SJWs says to one of the Young Americans for Freedom participants, quote, how dare you tell me to calm down, you cisgender white male. Well, newsflash, banging your fists on the table and yelling at people to shut up because they're white isn't a substitute for an argument. And you're the racist. Again, this is what we see over and over again. The very people who cry, you're racist all day long. They're the ones judging people on their skin color. They're the ones saying that certain people with a certain skin color can't have an opinion, don't have free speech. That is the ultimate form of racism. Again, they don't believe in equality. These people are racists, actual racists. Collectively judging people on their skin color, denying people their rights because of their skin color. That is the very definition of racism. Again, determining that you can censor someone and shut down their private assembly and impinge on their free speech rights because of their skin color, That makes you the bigot. Okay? You've literally got this SJW moron lecturing this guy, banging her fist on the table, saying that how dare he even challenge her? He's white. How dare he even have a voice? Well, that is the SJW engaging in hate speech. They're the ones who engage in hate speech. They're the ones who engage in flagrant racism. And it needs to be pointed out. You've got another clip which I posted earlier. Again, another rally out on the street, numerous people involved. You've got a feminist chanting, assault is not okay. That's their chant. Assault is not okay. While she physically assaults a man and slaps him in the face. She's there on video just smacking him around. Again, while chanting, assault is not okay. Complete, unbridled hypocrisy. These people are violent. These people are aggressive. These people are the real racists. And they demonstrate it on a daily basis again and again and again. We see it all the time. So again, we've got that story, that video, and that's going to go up on Infowars.com. Now, of course, Alicia Mercado came out, or Hillary Clinton released her name during the debate in an attempt to attack Donald Trump because he may allegedly have called a woman fat 20 years ago, God forbid. I mean, it's not like Hillary wrecked the Middle East and wants war with Russia. That's not important. Donald Trump may have called somebody Miss Piggy 20 years ago. No actual evidence for that, as we'll see in the clip. But they're still floating this. And we're going to talk about it more after the video, the truth about Alicia Mercado. Here it is. Hillary Clinton, the amazing feminist who accepts hundreds of millions of dollars from countries that oppress women, calls women bimbos, and intimidates Bill Clinton's rape victims, played the vagina card once again during the debates in an effort to smear Trump as a woman hater.
And one of the worst things he said was about a woman in a beauty contest. Donald, she has a name.
Where did you find
her
this?
name
Where
is
did you find
Alicia
this?
Machado.
Where did you find
and
it?
she has become a U.S. citizen, and you can bet she's going to vote this November.
Okay, good.
So who is Alicia Mercado, this amazing role model for young women who's standing up against a torrent of misogynistic abuse? She's accused of driving the getaway car for a murder attempt. She threatened to kill a judge. She had an illegitimate child with a Mexican drug lord. She also had sex on reality TV while being engaged to someone else. What a fantastic feminist role model for young women. This is Hillary's campaign poster child.
He can say whatever he wants to say. I don't care. You know, I have my past. Of course, everybody has. Everybody have a past.
Yeah, not everybody's past includes being accused of acting as an accomplice in an attempted murder and threatening to kill a judge. That's kind of out of the ordinary, Alicia. But Trump is the villain of the piece for allegedly fat-shaming her, even though CNN did exactly the same thing. He's bad for being judgmental of beauty in a beauty pageant that he owned. Watch the video where Trump supposedly fat-shames her. He's being incredibly complimentary. In fact, it's Trump who's defending her against others who are pressuring her over her weight.
I felt that Alicia was one of the most beautiful women I'd ever seen. It was incredible. And all of the folks that were here agreed with that. Alicia is like me and like a lot of other people. I love to eat. We all love to eat. Not all of us. Some of you are lucky, but we eat. We like to eat. And she had tremendous pressure put on her with the win and everything else. Plus, she was going from country to country, all foreign places. And there was a huge amount of pressure. When she won the contest, I had never seen anybody more beautiful. And she's totally beautiful now. You know, you have a lot of people that have problems with weight, eating disorders, whatever you want to call it. A lot of people. I mean, I'm looking at a lot of you reporters, and I can't believe how many showed up. But a lot of you folks have weight problems, I hate to tell you. But doesn't it?
Mercado also brazenly lied when she said that Trump's mean comments led to her eating disorder. She had that disorder before she even entered Miss Universe.
You said as a result of what he said to you, you developed an eating disorder, bulimia, and anorexia. But you had said publicly at the time that you suffered from both of those eating disorders prior to the Miss Universe contest and really, you know, had come into...
No, never. prior than Miss Universe pageant. I never.
Well, this is from
any
May.
problem before the Miss Universe.
Well, this is from the Washington Post.
Sorry, that happened.
Let me just tell you. Well, let me just tell you what I'm referring to, and then you respond. The Washington Post from May 16th, 1997, reported this quote from you: "I was anorexic and bulimic, but almost all of us are. When I was preparing for Miss Universe, it was an obsession for me to not gain weight. By the time I won, I was actually recovering, but the year leading to it, I didn't eat at all, and whatever I ate, I threw up. I weighed 116 pounds when I won. I was skeletal." So it sounds like, without diminishing anything that you went through after Trump, it does sound like you had an eating disorder prior to his comments and prior to winning.
So Trump drew attention to this sex tape where Mercado romps on screen while being engaged to someone else, and Hillary accused him of being a conspiracy theorist, claiming that Mercado never appeared in a sex tape, even though she clearly did appear in a sex tape. But the New York Times says its fact checkers found no evidence of a sex tape. So she's having sex on tape, and that's not a sex tape. Oh, but that was just a risque scene, the Times reported. Listen to what Mercado was recorded on tape saying during the encounter. "Oh, your dick, my love. What a tasty dick. Your dick is divine." Does that sound risque to you? Or does it sound like what you'd hear on a sex tape? The New York Times is flagrantly lying to its readers, and Trump has been vindicated yet again. Alicia Mercado clearly appeared in a sex tape. That's a fact. You had grimy sex on national television, yet you accused Trump of objectifying you. Yeah, Alicia, I think you did a pretty good job of objectifying yourself. Hillary's decisions led to 4 dead Americans, a ruined country, the displacement of millions of people, and the international migrant crisis. And yet Trump's the terrible person for allegedly calling a woman fat 20 years ago. And this is what the media wants to talk about. Hillary vowed to crucify women who were victims of her sexual predator husband. She laughed about defending a child rapist who molested a 12-year-old girl. She takes mountains of cash from Saudi Arabia, a country that treats women like cattle. She intimidates vulnerable female rape victims. But it's Trump who hates women because he called Rosie O'Donnell fat and encouraged Miss Universe to lose weight while representing a beauty pageant that he owned. Really? Women don't fear for their life because of Donald Trump. They do fear for their life because of the Clintons. Until the media reports on Hillary intimidating Bill's rape victims, they can shut the hell up about Trump's treatment of women. Alicia Mercado is a terrible role model for young women. And yes, she appeared in a sex tape. And now all this has come to light. It's blown up in Hillary's stupid face, which is why the New York Times and the rest of the corrupt establishment media is having to lie about it to run defense for her. That is the truth about Alicia Mercado. It's up on my YouTube channel, again exposing another one of these media hoaxes. 6 months ago, I wasn't even vehemently that pro-Trump. I mean, I supported Rand Paul at the start of the Republican debates. It was the media's obvious agenda. In fact, they came out themselves and said, we've dispensed with any pretense of neutrality or objectivity. We can't let this man in the White House. We can't let him have his finger on the nuclear codes because he's literally Hitler and he's going to destroy the world. It was that kind of hysteria and that kind of media hoax. And they come out with these on a regular basis that drove me to be more pro-Trump, simply because of this absolute complete bias in every single situation. You saw it with Alicia Mercado again. The New York Times put out an article saying it was a conspiracy theory that their fact checkers didn't find any evidence for the fact that she was in a sex tape, even though she was in a sex tape. Okay, it's been public knowledge for years. Hillary tried to exalt this Alicia Mercado as a big feminist icon for her campaign, which is based on absolutely nothing. It's blown up in their faces. But again, how will it affect the polls? We don't know. We don't really get a sense of that benchmark. But again, if you actually dig into the facts, it's being completely exposed. On the subject of fat shaming, which is not even what Donald Trump did, But Demi Lovato, who is some vacuous airhead celebrity, who I don't even care who it is, criticized Taylor Swift for body shaming by body shaming her. So this celebrity came out and said that Taylor Swift and her crew were sending out a bad message to young women because they were thin, because they kept themselves in shape. So body shaming is now not just saying that, you know, being fat is unattractive and unhealthy. It's the mere act of not being fat and unattractive, taking care of yourself, being in shape. That is now fat shaming, according to social justice warriors. And deeper down the rabbit hole we go. Leonardo DiCaprio says that if you don't believe in climate change, you should not be allowed to hold public office. This is a guy who literally takes dozens of private jet flights every year. He has private yachts. They don't run on solar power, do they? He flew on a private jet from New York to LA 6 times in 6 weeks. That came out in the Sony hack. Leonardo DiCaprio is a complete hypocrite, but he says if you don't believe in climate change, you shouldn't be allowed to hold public office. Well, if you take private jets, Leo, to collect environmental awards, you shouldn't be allowed to talk about global warming, to talk about the environment. Complete, absolute hypocrite. In fact, he tried to come back and claim, oh, I donate money to this carbon neutral charity which plants trees to offset my carbon footprint, which he claimed was 11 tons a year. Well, they actually did a study into this. The average person in the US emits 19 tons of carbon dioxide a year. And they're not Leonardo DiCaprio. They're not taking private jets everywhere to collect environmental awards. They're not going out on giant yachts. Actually turned out that his carbon footprint was 44 tons in a single year. And that was just from the airline trips. That doesn't include the private yachts or anything else. Absolute complete hypocrite. He's been exposed. He was exposed in the other embezzling scandal. But again, he says that if you don't believe in climate change, if you don't parrot everything to do with that, then you shouldn't be allowed to get ahead in life. But he can, even though he's a complete hypocrite and takes private jets everywhere. Now, a story we came out with on Monday. Again, this was an exclusive. We got the whistleblower. Hillary killed Libya peace deal over personal vendetta. Dr. Kalari Paul, he was a global peace ambassador. He went to Libya before the fall of Libya, agreed the deal with Muammar Gaddafi, agreed to hand over control, have peaceful democratic elections, end his own 42-year dictatorship. That deal was overseen by General Wesley Clark, by Denis Kucinich. This was on the record. The Libyan prime minister sent a letter to the White House saying, we agree to this deal. We want peace. We want to end hostility. We want to have free elections in Libya. Hillary Clinton killed it dead because of a personal vendetta, because Gaddafi had supported Obama over her during the 2008 presidential election. We now have this on record from whistleblowers. Of course, what did Libya lead to? Well, arming the jihadists led to the rise of ISIS. ISIS took over the country in the vacuum that was left as Gaddafi's forces melted. They took over all that sophisticated weaponry. Of course, this led to Benghazi, 4 dead Americans. It led to the escalation of hostilities in Syria, more jihadist rebels there committing atrocities. It led to the international migrant crisis. Thousands of people drowning in the Mediterranean Ocean every single year. All because Hillary Clinton, over her own personal vindictive vendetta, killed this peace deal in Libya. It's on record. We've got the whistleblowers. We've got the congressman, the former civil rights leader, Walter E. Fauntroy, again on record saying the same thing, backing this up. This is a huge story. It hasn't received anything like the traction it deserves. A few other outlets have picked it up, but we need you to get it out there. The headline is exclusive. Hillary killed Libya peace deal over personal vendetta, claims whistleblower. It's a huge story. It's a huge exclusive, and it could really damage Hillary Clinton because it gets to the heart of the fact of how she aided ISIS. She aided in the collapse of that country, Benghazi, and the crisis. But that's going to wrap it up for the show. InfoWars Nightly News coming up. Alex will be back tomorrow, 11 to 2. Breaking news at Infowars.com. Thanks for joining.